What's going on, guys? It's Eric from the Hot Pass Podcast. Welcome back to the Friday morning betting show. All right, we're back in Vegas, okay? All three major series, Truck, Xfinity, and Cup, all in Vegas Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a full weekend. You know where I'm going to be, sitting on my tuchus here in Canada, watching NASCAR. Friday night, Truck Night in America, unreal. Let's make a bag this weekend. You guys know where to go. We're back on YouTube. I didn't get the Monday or the Tuesday episode out on YouTube because it's extremely hard to edit and do all this when you're running a job site and there's a million dudes showing up to finally help you, okay? So this podcast, I'm staying up late Thursday night at the time of recording this to get this out for you guys Friday morning on YouTube. How about that? You can go see that we got the Superman Truck Series shirt on, as well as the Beast Unleashed Tyler Reddick hat, okay? Go over to the Hot Pass Podcast on YouTube. Subscribe there. Link is in the bio wherever you're finding this podcast, where you're currently listening, okay? Hot Pass Podcast. Make sure to hit the notification bell there. Like, share, subscribe. Do all those good things. Go to the Hot Pass Podcast on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts or your audio podcast. Leave a 5-star rating. It always helps out the podcast. Then go to @Furlong Eric __. That is FURLONG ERIC __ on all social media platforms, X, Instagram, and TikTok, to see videos there. And the reason why you want to go follow there is about an hour before the Trucks and Xfinity races, I will post my full betting card, final betting card, for all your eyes and ears to see. Okay? And so make sure to go see that. It'll be in the Instagram story as well as the Twitter feed. All right, or the X feed, whatever you want to call it. And then go to the Action Network, link is in the bio, wherever you find me. It's a free app. You can go download it. It's not a sponsor, but you can go and download that and see my early Cup picks. I also have players, PGA picks, and all my guys other than Hovland and Hogard are in contention to be able to, it's just Thursday. But they're all in good spots right now going into Friday. So go see those PGA picks as well as my one Cup Series pick that I have. And I took it early, and we talked about it on Tuesday. And only a couple of you even listened to the goddamn podcast on Tuesday, and you would have got that early pick. So link is in the bio to the Action Network. Let's dive in. It's already been almost 3 goddamn minutes. Let me get a sip of my beverage. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. I don't have a side table or an end table right now, so we're having a tough time being able to grab beverages here. Southern Comfort and Coke. Didn't grab Beast Unleashed on my way back from the Americas when I was down in Atlanta because it was super early in the morning. So we're going to have to get down to another race, aren't we? Let me just put that there and hope to God it doesn't move. Okay. Hope it was a good week for all you guys. All right? Any big NASCAR news? I know that there was like the leg stuff, the Rebecca, whatever her name is, and your qualifications to be able to even drive in the Cup Series, which finally fucking makes sense. A little bit of sense. There's still a bit of a gray area, and then yeah, man. I mean, I don't think there was a crazy amount of stuff. I don't want to dive too much into that because it's a betting show. It's a Friday morning betting show. But you know what? Not messing around. One thing I just want to address, I'm kind of pissed off at Bet Rivers right now that if you go at the time of recording this, been waiting for Xfinity and Truck odds on there. And they're usually one of the best ones. And to this day, like at this moment in time, I'm recording through my phone, so I can't really do that for the YouTube. But at the time before recording this, they don't have any odds up. They have Cup Series stuff, but no odds. So always Bet365, DraftKings, FanDuel's always just really got outrights for Xfinity and Trucks, so kind of dog poop. But DraftKings and Bet365 is top tier in Canada, top tier. So shouts out to them to always getting the stuff out early. So throughout this week, I've actually done a lot of research. One of the biggest things, the biggest tracks that we made a lot of money on, or style of tracks, was 1.5 miles last year. Definitely across Truck Series, no doubt. I'm excited to go back to the bread and butter of where we made our money. and see if we could start cashing some bets. The first 2 weeks didn't really have anything because of the super speedway style nature of the races. We did have Daniel Hemrick. I did bet on Daniel Hemrick when I was down in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, and for a top 5 and everything, and that was good, and then bad, and then really, really good, and then bad again. But we saw the speed in that truck, so you guys are going to see I'm heavy on Daniel Hemrick this week, but we're going back to the bread and butter. I feel very confident going into this race of who is going to be good, who is going to be average, and who could be there in contention. So let's kind of dive into the qualifying list here. Who's all in the race? We have Justin Haley in the race and Corey Day and William Sawalich are the non-regulars in the race. Other than that, the top 10, like a bunch of the qualifying guys, Corey Day is going to be qualifying. He might get the pole, maybe. I know my buddy Kyle has a bit of a rub with Corey Day because he does dirt track racing stuff and he has done literally nothing on asphalt and continues to be dog poop and can't prove it. Still has so much to prove on asphalt. So if I'm you guys, stay the fuck away from Corey Day in every single way. If they give you a matchup, hammer the other side. The only way I feel like that's going to lose is if the other guy, the guy that you have money on, crashes out. So you pray to God that that does not happen. So fade the shit out of Corey Day until he proves us something. You can get the pole all you want. You can do whatever you'd like, but it ain't. You haven't shown shit. You can't even do it. You can finish 10th in an ARCA race. Ew, dude. Because you got the word from Kyle Larson, you're, I guess, a good driver. There's a difference of what Kyle Larson said about Connor Zilic last year and what's going on with Corey Day. So not everybody can be Connor Zilic, I guess. So get that out of the way. One thing I also have to say before we dive too much into the bets here is we do have to wait on a weekly basis now because of the way qualifying is, where it is a one shot, one round, no final round stuff for whether it's Cup Series, Xfinity, or trucks, all across the board. It's the same thing. One shot, one round, one opportunity, mom spaghetti, all that dumb shit. That was a horrible, horrible joke. I'm not even a dad, dude. Making stupid jokes. Shouts out to Ryan from Win the Race. Guarantee he makes dad jokes all the time. Shouts out to my boy. Love that man. He's a bum, but love that man. Shouts out. But we have to wait on a weekly basis to see who is qualifying where. It should be top heavy at the end of the year. I know Brian on Twitter, Brian Twinning or something like that, did say that, yeah, when it comes to the end of the year, it should be more top heavy. And we're already seeing that kind of in the Cup Series with Christopher Bell, William Byron, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, so on and so forth, being right there in the final last couple of drivers in qualifying. So we do have to wait. Majority of my bets I will wait and see where everybody qualifies or is qualifying, and then I will go off that to be able to get early lines on guys. I'm just holding onto the microphone still since we don't have the arm, so it might be a little bit of shuffling around every once in a while. So when it comes to the Truck Series, let's start off with the Truck Series bets. We'll go through the qualifying order, the last couple of guys. We'll go from who's qualifying last and go up a couple here. Corey Day is going to be qualifying last, and it goes Stuart Friesen, which this guy actually qualifies half decent and pretty damn good actually on mile and a halves. So if you like Stuart Friesen, he hasn't won in the Truck Series as far as I can remember. Maybe it was a long time ago. He did show speed at Atlanta, was there at the end. If you want to take Atlanta as some sort of comparable, wouldn't do it, but he's been good on mile and a half. It's Pit Road and his team on Pit Road that fucking continues to hurt him every single time that he's in contention in a top 5, in a long shot top 5. But if you like him, I don't hate it. Last year we did see in this race a lot of pit penalties on the last live green flag pit stop. And that is another thing before we dive too much into this, that we have to remember that this is the first race in trucks that is going to be live green flag stops. So remember the guys that had the penalties last year: Kyle Busch, Ty Majeski, Nick Sanchez. Nick Sanchez is out of there. But there was a bunch of guys that all got pit penalties that led to the 80-1, 75-1, whatever you had on Raja Caruth last year to be able to win the race. So you do have to go into experience in the trucks. So lack of Corey Day, Giovanni Ruggiero, Bailey Curry, like the guys that are in that final 10 that are qualifying that might have speed. You have to keep an eye out for those guys. Watch out. The guys that have, Kyle Busch had a penalty or whatever. So it could happen to anybody, but majority of the guys, you want a little bit of experience behind you. So there's little things going to this race that we have to remember before placing bets, because it will bite you in the ass. And last week in the Cup Series, I had Ross Chastain, and I didn't listen to myself, where I always say early on in the year, him and Kyle Busch will have speed penalties, and boom, that took Ross Chastain out of the possibility of winning the race and even being in the top 10. So just food for thought on that one, okay? So, so it goes Corey Day, Stuart Friesen are the last two. Then Chandler Smith, Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, Bailey Curry, Tyler Ankrum, Enfinger, Garcia, Ruggiero, Honeycutt, Haley, Fenhouse, and Daniel Hemrick. And then Corey Heim is qualifying in the 15th spot. He doesn't always qualify the best when it comes to mile and a halfs, actually. Usually qualifies outside the top 10, probably mid-teens, and I would expect him to do the same in the position that he is in for qualifying this week. Also a little scary that he was, and those Toyotas were absolutely irrelevant at Atlanta. Horrible trucks. Tony Breidinger was immediately down a bunch of laps, but the other ones, absolutely irrelevant. So keep that in mind. It's not comparable, but it's just, it could scare you into putting money. Corey Heim is the, where is it here? The EcoSave 200. He's plus 175 to win the race. Actually, not one of his best tracks. So just keep that in mind. He will qualify kind of poopy. He might drift out to a 2 or 3 to 1. So just keep an eye on that. All right. So we'll go to, I'm just on Bet365, so it's easy to access on my laptop here. There are some matchups. Some interesting ones. Nothing that has caught my eye too much. I know a lot of people, man, I have to say Raja Caruth is qualifying like 4th or 5th here. Let me just double check because of his early crash out, 3rd. So wait on Raja. You're definitely going to get a better number on Raja. If anybody is trying to bet on Raja, you will get a better number on it. If you want the top 5, it will drift out way more. He's sitting on Bet365 currently for a top 5 at plus 180. That will probably, I think, get out to a plus 300. Maybe not that far because of the talent he does have on mile and a half. But I'm still trying to figure out the Justin Haley, Raja Caruth battle here. Justin Haley will just try and put a good race together. Raja should be able to have a good race. We've seen Raja put himself in bad positions in the past. Am I too high on him this year? This race and this year? No, I'm not gonna lie. He had a really good race going in Atlanta for a brief moment there. But we'll see. We're gonna wait on Raja. There's not a lot of head-to-heads that I like on Bet365 at the current moment. Daniel Hemrick. I was looking at Daniel Hemrick over Grant Enfinger because actually this is one of Grant Enfinger's not best mile and a halves. The 12-1 does seem tempting. Will he qualify? Good. Maybe. That number 9 has gotten better. But even when he was in the 23 for years, that number 23 was he was not the best at Vegas. So I'm waiting on Enfinger. We'll see about taking him live. If he's leading a lot of laps and he looks good, maybe I'll take him live. But with his track history here, he's good on a bunch of mile and a halves. He's good on short track. He's good everywhere. But when he comes to Vegas, it is not the most consistent of finishes. Usually on the back half of the top 10. So I don't like Grant Enfinger in this spot. The only reason I did not take this matchup is because of I don't want too much exposure on Daniel Hemrick if he does have a, green flag pit stop issue or crashes out on a restart or something, blows a tire, whatever. I just don't want too much exposure on him. So maybe you want the Enfinger side to be able to cover your ass if you're on Hemrick like me. We'll just go to top fives, man. The long shot top fives. I'm going to wait on Matt Crafton. I feel Matt Crafton, he can have a good race or a bad race. He is qualifying. Matt Crafton's qualifying 10th, right after Frankie Muniz. Shout out Frankie. So I'm going to wait. Matt has qualified extremely well here. Do I know if he qualified, in a better spot here in the past? I don't know that personally. So I'm going to wait and see what Matt Crafton has. I feel like we're going to get a better number because of where he's qualifying. He's qualifying super early on. So he's sitting at 10-1 right now for a top five. I think on Caesars, he might have been a 12-1 for a top five. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I don't mind a Matt Crafton top five. I wish we had a top 10 because I would take that because of his track history here. I think I had it here somewhere pulled up. Las Vegas. In 28 starts, he has 18 top 10. So this is his recent history since we'll say 2018. 5th, 3rd, 30th. And then after that, it's top 10 galore pretty much. 4th, 9th, 5th, 3rd, 7th, 11th, and 7th. Right there inside the top five a couple of times, and then just outside the top five. So at 10-1, he's qualified so well here, though. 5th, 13th, 6th, 4th, 6th, 7th, 11th, and 15th. So in the last 2 years, he's qualified outside the top 10. And that is why I'm going to wait on him. He's qualified outside the top 10 in recent years. He is qualifying 10th. I'm going to wait on him. We might, if he opens up at 10-1 again, I'm okay with that. I'll put a little 0.4 of a unit, little sprinkle on there for him for a top five. I've already taken him outright as a crazy long shot just to get in early, just in case he does qualify really well. Might get a little bit more of an exposure on there later on. So Matt Crafton, top five. Wait till after practice and qualifying. If you want a little exposure now, get in on him early if you'd like. But heed my warning, it might drift out a little bit. Other top fives, I like Stuart Friesen. Okay? Give me Stuart Friesen for a top five here at Vegas. 1.5 miles seem to be where he performs the best. 1.5 miles seem to favor dirt track racers for the most part. That is why you see a Corey Day coming to this track. You see in the Cup Series, you see it with Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, so on and so forth, do extremely well in these positions. You see Sheldon Krieg usually good on 1.5 miles, so I'm not surprised that Stuart Friesen will qualify well and run well, and he's run well here in the past. He's got 13 races here, 7 inside the top 10, and 5 of those inside the top 5. He's had some recent issues here in the last 2 years. He's finished 18th and 14th over the last 2 years, but before that it was 3rd, 6th, 4th, and 9th. So consistent years where he was inside the top 5 or just outside of it. And I like the, what's that, on Bet365, he is plus 550. I think if I go check my notes here, I've got a little action on him, baby. I put a little 0.6 of a unit on there. Little sprinkle, a little half unit on there. It can hurt you. It can burn you. The last 2 years have not been the best for him. But he's been really good here, man. Seems like he might have a couple of years where it's kind of bad and then really good. And I want to be on the side of Stuart Friesen, the Canadian boy that lives in America all the time, is like Syracuse, New York. I want the exposure on him, man. It feels good. Another top 5. Ben Rhodes, plus 450. And the reason why I'm taking Ben Rhodes, the qualifying order is extremely important here. And I also feel like in my head, Ben Rhodes is going to have a bounce back season. Absolutely horrendous year last year. I think he got the pole at Daytona, which doesn't mean anything for the most part. But just that confidence building up in that team. That team went from winning a championship to absolutely running 20th or worse every single week. They couldn't do anything to that truck. It's like God cursed them after he got hammered after winning in Phoenix. So, you know, I just, the qualifying, he's what, qualifying 5th to last? He's qualifying 28th, if I'm right. Yeah, 5th to last, so 20, and he's done well here, dude. Give it to me. He's done well. Let me look at his history here, man. 13 starts, 8 inside the top 10, 5 inside the top 5, and a win. He's the first one with a win here. So, and that was back in 2017. In recent years, it's been good, or it's been bad, good, bad, good, bad, and then and he's qualified inside the top 10. So let me go through his qualifying in starting from last year and moving on to a couple of years. 13th, so last year I think he probably qualified, like he had to start. It was in that old way they were doing it, so he probably had to qualify closer to the rear, or at the very beginning of qualifying. So he qualified 13th, then it was 9th, 4th, 7th, 1st, and 8th in the last 4 years. So keep an eye out for that, okay? And his recent performances have been 13th, 3rd, 31st, 2nd, and then 10th. And then previous years, it's been on and off. 23rd, 5th, 8th, 25th, 4th, 7th, 1st, and 12th. So, and now he won in the 27 Duke Thorson truck back in the day in 2017, which he's still racing for Duke Thorson, always has, but the 99 has been his consistent truck for a long time now. I feel confident with Ben Rhodes. He is 35 to 1 to win the race. He is plus 450 for a top 5. If you like him for a top 3, I'm just going to take him for a top 5. Do you like him in matchups? I don't see many matchups. I think there was maybe one on Caesars that I kind of liked. If anything, if it's still there, I'll put it on my final betting card. You guys will see it there. But I like Ben Rhodes in this spot, man. He won at Charlotte, a year or two ago, 2 years ago to get into the playoffs. And that kind of came out of nowhere. It was just it seemed like a bit of a fluky win because he wasn't really doing much. So it wouldn't surprise me if he just comes out of nowhere and everybody's like, oh my God, Ben Rhodes is back. So plus 450 for a top 5 is where I'm at for Ben Rhodes because of the qualifying position he's in, because of the talent he has had on mile and a halves, being able to win and have good runs and put towards solid days and that bounce back. So plus 450 for a top 5. The other guy I am so heavy on, it scares the shit out of me just like Atlanta. But to put a good race together, I think personally he's actually more talented than Christian Eckes. It might be a bit of a bold statement there. Yes, he's in the South Point the South Point fucking casino truck, which scares me because of being in Vegas and all this stuff and sponsoring the Vegas Cup Series fall race usually. The South Point 400 scares the living shit out of me unless that's this weekend. I think it's the Pennzoil thing. Yeah, it's Pennzoil 400. Scares the shit out of me. That's usually a jinx. But that is not the race weekend this weekend. That's in October. So that is Daniel Hemrick plus 180 for a top 5. I've got 2 units on it. I feel confident in it. Christian Eck is actually is not one of his best style of tracks is mile and a halves that we've seen. It's very inconsistent. He can win. He won Christian Eck has won at Kansas in the 19, and then kind of with just good days, bad days, kind of run inside the top 5. Not really always contend for the win. Daniel Hemrick, in his history at Vegas, whether it's in the Truck Series or Xfinity, has been fantastic. Let me go into his history here. Okay, in the Truck Series at Vegas, 2 starts, 2 inside the top 10, 1 inside the top 5. Okay, second in 2016 and 6th in 2015. Oh, and guess what he was driving? It was Brad Keselowski's team at the time, but he was driving the number 19 where he started 6th and finished 2nd. Okay, talk about juju on that one. The 19 finished in 2nd. Let's get one better, baby. Let's get one better. And then let's go move over to his Xfinity record since he was in Xfinity for a long time. We just got a racing reference here. It's usually a little slow here sometimes. Let's just build this up. Let's talk a lot of nonsense while we're here. 11 start. Listen closely. 11 starts in Xfinity. So not trucks, but Xfinity. 11 starts at Vegas. 8 top 10s. 4 top 5s in Vegas. What do I need to say about Daniel Hemric? In Xfinity, his last couple were last couple finishes, 9th, 10th, 8th, 3rd, 5th, 2nd, 3rd. What else do you want? And now he's going back down. He's down in the truck series in a race-winning fucking truck, dude. And you're giving us 12-1 to win the race. You're giving us plus 180 on Bet365 for a top 5. Give it to me, dude. I know he was like minus 105 for a top 5 on Caesars. Blech. Get it out of here. Plus 180 for a top 5. And listen to this number. We're riding the fucking train up. We're choo-choo or whatever the truck lift, the NASCAR gambling podcast says. We're riding the truck lift. Daniel Hemric plus 320 for a top 3. And then give me this one outright 12-1 on DraftKings, and FanDuel and DraftKings. Okay, 11-1 on Bet365. He might be 12-1 on Caesar still. I can't remember, but give me 12-1 to win the race. Let's go to the outrights. Since we just talked about Daniel Hemric at 12-1, I like Ben Rhodes. I took him at 35-1. I think that would have been Ben Rhodes on Caesars at 35-1. And then I also used a 100% profit boost, which was a $10 max bet to get him at 50-1. So a little exposure. You didn't have to put too much then, but at 50-1 for Ben Rhodes with that 100% profit boost on Caesars. So shouts out. And then 35-1 on Caesars with a little sprinkle play for him to be able to win the race at 35-1. And then Matt Crafton, 100-1, a little sprinkle, 0.1 of a unit play just for fun because you'll qualify bad. But if the speed looks good, the number might go to 80. You'll be able to find 100 somewhere. I just like to get on Matt Crafton early in this position because you never know. You never know what might happen. And then Chandler Smith. We haven't even talked about him. Yet. You thought I wasn't going to talk about Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, Lane Riggs, Ty Majeski, Justin Haley, Grant Enfinger, Tyler Anker, Williams, Raja, Caden, Guys, Corey Heim, he can win the race. Whatever. Lane Riggs, qualifying super far in the back. So he's qualifying 13th. Don't expect much out of qualifying out of him. That 9-1 will drift out as what I'm seeing on Bet365. Ty Majeski led a lot of laps here in the spring last year. Pit penalty. So Ty Majeski always a cheater in my eyes. Fuck Ty Majeski. Justin Haley. He's known as a super speedway guy, not as a mile-and-a-half guy. So keep me away from Justin Haley at 10-1. I don't want to touch it. Grant Enfinger, as we talked about, not the best on this track specifically. So we'll see if he wins. There was 12-1 hanging out there. Unreal. Grant Enfinger beat us. He will be there. He will be scary. And he could just look extremely fast. So to each their own on that one. You want to take Grant? Sure. I'll take Daniel Hemric. Roger Carruth, 11-1. We talked about him qualifying third. That number will drift out. Caden Honeycutt. Highs and lows, dude. A lot of lows recently. So let's wait till Kansas where he showed up and was really fast. And that's where he made his big name. We'll wait for Caden Honeycutt at Kansas. Tyler Ankrum, 16-1, almost could have won the race late. Chasing down Roger Carruth. Tyler Ankrum can't do anything ever in a truck. Also, William Sawalich hasn't done shit to be able to prove anything to me. He's in that number 1. Gio Ruggiero, no thank you. Connor Melzak. And then we drift up to Corey Day and Jake Garcia, Tanner Gray. You know, if you guys want a crazy long one, Tanner Gray is going to qualify kind of bad probably. I mean, Tanner Gray is always just a fun top 5 because sometimes he just shows up on mile-and-a-halves. He kind of just shows up at Martinsville, which will take in a couple of weeks. He kind of just shows up sometimes. And you get a top 5. So if every week you take a little sprinkle on Tanner Gray, I don't hate it. He's having a baby. He's got that dad energy with a girl that's probably at least 10 to 15 years older than him. It's very creepy. But that's it. So the plays are Matt Crafton after practice qualifying for the top 5. Stuart Friesen plus 550 on Bet365. Ben Rhodes plus 450 on Bet365. Daniel Hemrick plus 180 for a top 5 on Bet365. Daniel Hemrick plus 320 on Bet365 for a top 3. And then the outrights, Matt Crafton 100-1. Ben Rhodes at 50-1 with the Caesars 100% profit boost. And then Ben Rhodes at 35-1 with a little sprinkle on there at 35-1. Daniel Hemrick plus 1,200. And I forgot to mention his name, plus 550 or plus 500, wherever you could get him. Chandler Smith to win Vegas. You're welcome. Mic drop. Truck Series done. Let's go to Xfinity. This must have been a long segment for Truck Smith. 30 minutes, dog. 30 minutes because I love the Truck Series and I love betting on them and I love going to Mile and a House with them. It is entertaining as hell. This could be a long podcast, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. A lot of people say I have the voice for a podcast, so I love it. Xfinity. The love-hate relationship I have with this goddamn... Like, we hit Eric Almirola, put 2 units on him last week, cash a bag. Brandon Jones is back, baby. Taylor Gray is going to be on the card this week. I feel really good about him. He ended up racing in this race in the fall. Ends up getting turned around on a... was it in the fall or the spring? I think it was in the fall. And just get turned around immediately on a restart. There was a pile up behind him and bumped his ass and turned him around. So Taylor Gray has been absolutely consistent so far this year. So the definition of consistency. So we will see how he does. So let's kind of go through who are the favorites here. Justin Allgaier 3-1. Eric Almirola as well. Eric Almirola is going to be there, baby. So Sheldon Creed 8-1. Wait on Sheldon because of the qualifying position he is in. Austin Hill, you got to prove something to me, dude. It ain't it yet. 8-1. Connor Zilich 9-1. After last week's performance, I mean, he was good at Kansas. He was good at Kansas in the fall on a mile and a half, but 9-1, it ain't happening. I'm just kind of going through who the favorites and stuff are here. We'll get to the top 5s and the matchups, all that stuff. Jesse Love, 10-1. Get the fuck out of here with that. Sam Mayer, 10-1. You can find him 12-1 on DraftKings at the time of recording this. Taylor Gray, 16-1. You can find him 18-1 on a bunch of books. Maybe I know that because I'm literally betting on these guys. Brandon Jones, 18-1. Brandon Jones is motherfucking back, dog. Shouts out to BJ. Okay? Gluck 9000 from Mr. BJ. All right? Ryan Sieg, 18-1. That motherfucker, they have figured him out, and they're placing him in the right position he needs to be at in these mile and a halves. The motherfucker drives it was the same car for him. They just wrapped the 28 and put it on there. But motherfucker, that guy is fast. Should have won in the fall. Instead, we hit AJ Allmendinger. Shouts out to Sammy Smith for the most bullshit-ass caution ever. He goes, I can't make it back to pit road. Rewatch the race in the fall. Can't make it back to pit road. Stops. And then they throw the caution, fucks Ryan Sieg, thank you, and then drives, and he goes, oh, I can make it back to pit road. Penalize the dude. Anyways, still heated. Sammy Smith, 20-1, Carson Quapple, 22-1, Christian Eckes, 30-1, Nick Sanchez, 30-1, and it kind of drifts off from there. All right, let's go through the qualifying order here. How about that? Starting from who's qualifying last. Eric Almirola, Justin Allgaier, Sam Mayer, Ryan Sieg with the top 5 of a lifetime in a backup car. So watch out this week. Jesse Love, Taylor Gray, Christian Eckes, BJ, Brandon Jones, Sammy Smith, Nick Sanchez, William Sawalich, and it drifts off. Connor Zilich in the 25th spot. Some notable other guys, Carson Quapple in the 18th spot. Sheldon Creed in the 13th spot. Austin Hill in the 11th spot. So big names early on in qualifying. So keep an eye out for that. All right, when we're talking about these odds. So, all right, let's go to little matchups here. Let's see a couple matchups we got. All right. I don't know how I feel about him. I like the Ryan Sieg over Sammy Smith. But I mean, minus 125 over Sammy Smith, dude. Sammy Smith is not good on mile and a half, dude. Okay, yeah, he showed up in Michigan like one time. Wow. Other than that, dude, fade the fuck out of this guy. I don't understand why everybody sucks his nut. Guy's actually not friendly at all. Doesn't have a personality. Maybe he's friendly, but doesn't have a personality. So until you show me something, I'll show you respect with my money. Until then, I ain't touching you, okay? A lot of the matchups on Bet365 currently looking at them are just horrible. So we're just going to move away from that. Obviously, the top 10 gods of Bet365 are still doing their thing, but the numbers are fucking disgusting. And they move very, very quick. I don't know why I pointed with my fucking remote here. Shouts out to the Hot Pass Podcast on YouTube. Oh, man, I finished off my Southern Comfort and Coke here. Let me just get that last little bit. They move, like if they open up the top 10s, whatever you like, get it quick, because these lines move really fast. They adjust them. A lot of money comes in heavy very fast, and they adjust them within like the first 30 minutes. So keep an eye out for that. Not a lot of numbers I like at all. To be honest, I'm going to wait till practice and qualifying. Guys I do like for the top 10 is Brandon Jones and Sam Mayer, Ryan Sieg. The plus money guys, the guys that are on the plus money side that I am looking at, all right, is guys like Nick Sanchez. He qualified so well last week that we didn't get him on that 2-1 for a top 10, and he ends up hitting it even after the late race restart, and it upset the shit out of me because I wanted that number. And I wanted him to qualify bad so I could put him on the betting card, and he didn't. Brandon Jones, on the other hand, qualified okay, and we ended up getting him at plus 110, and we hit it. So I feel like a lot of these are wait till the qualifying happens and see if they drift out, and then try and nab them again, maybe for a better number. But the guys I'm looking at, okay, guys that kind of just show up. Anthony Alfredo, 10-1 for a top 10. And a guy that has hung out outside of the top 10 in the last two races. Yes, some late race restarts had to happen. Yes, he had to have a bit of fortune, or fortunate circumstances, is Josh Williams. Just outside the top 10, I think he finished like, 13th and 14th in the last two races here. So just outside the top 10 is where you kind of want him. And he's 12-1 for a top 10. 12-1. I like those numbers, baby. I mean, Daniel Dye could show up if you wanted to. Parker Retzlaff is driving that dog shit number 4 and driving it up towards the front. And I just can't trust the plus 400. But Dean Thompson could kind of put something together, but he's qualifying basically first. But the reason why I'm on Josh Williams is because where he's qualifying this week. He's qualifying 26. So near the end, he's not the best at qualifying. He could slip up, but I'm going to get on that little 12-1 a little early, like little 0.2 or 0.3 of a sprinkle play. Something light, something you can watch throughout the whole race, see where Josh Williams is at, and if there's a late race restart, maybe you hit Josh Williams, right? So Josh Williams, 12-1 on Bet365 for a top 10. I'm going to take Anthony Alfredo, but because he's qualifying so early on, he's qualifying actually 7th, I'm going to wait on him. He's 10-1. I don't think it's going to move really at all. I don't think it's going to drift out, but he kind of just puts himself in position for a lot of races. And he could just kind of drive up and put himself into a top 10 position. So I like that. And everybody else I'm just going to wait on. Just going to wait, see how it goes. I know Christian Eckes is plus 100. I know Nick Sanchez is plus 125. William Swalich plus 140. But I'm going to hold off on these guys because of the positions they are in qualifying, and just see what happens if they slip up, they drift out. Then we'll snag them up. I think that's how I'm going to do it all year with the top 10s. Is just kind of wait. Top 5 market, man. Honestly, I feel good. We're going to go back to the well with the Brandon Jones. We're going to go back to the well with Brandon Jones. And y'all laughed at me last week. We gave him out, I think it was at plus 300. He ends up reopening at plus 400 for a top 5. Did I put him on the final betting card? No, because I didn't have that much. Did I take him in top 10? Yeah, because I was confident because of the number. Did I think he's going to get the top 5? No, not necessarily. I thought maybe, but I don't want to have too much exposure on Brandon Jones because of the history of him crashing out. But it just seems that's usually in junior motorsport stuff on these regular ass tracks rather than super speedways and road courses. So this year I'm going into, was Brandon Jones good in a Joe Gibbs car a couple years ago on this certain track? Yes. Okay. I'm taking him this year on that track because of the numbers we're getting on Brandon Jones. Okay. In a Joe Gibbs car. In the number 20, that was unreal. Okay. When anybody steps into this car, there's a lot of money behind this. I got to switch hands because my arm is starting to fall asleep. Brandon Jones here at Vegas, actually shockingly half decent. He's actually been good at Michigan in the past, which is, a larger mile and a half, it's a 2-mile track, but race is similar for the most part. Well, not now, and they're not racing there anymore, but and it was basically they're driving a super speedway. But before that was really good at Michigan as well as a comparable kind of track. Listen to the numbers, I'm telling you, people. If he does qualify bad, which I don't think he will, he's going to qualify probably pretty damn good in that number 20. He ended up getting the pole in the number 9 in the fall, so watch out for Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones has 16 starts here, 11 top 10s, and 2, this doesn't really help with the top 5 market, but 2 top 5s. Okay. So he's a top 10 machine here. Okay. He is minus 175 for a top 10. I might fucking take it. Will I hammer it? No, I'll just put 1.75 units on it and just enjoy it. And if it burns me, it fucking burns me. But he's a top 10 machine here. Even in the number 9 where he would not fucking do well at all, at anywhere. 17th on the late race restart last in the fall, but qualified first. Other than that, he's qualified dog poo-poo in the number 9, but in the 19, he was qualifying unreal. All right. In 2024 and 2024 spring race and 2023 fall race in the number 9, he ends up finishing 8th and 9th. Unreal. Back in 2021, he finished 3rd here. 2019, 3rd here. So top 10 machine, couple of top 5s, driving in the Joe Gibbs car is where he got his top 5s. And where is he now? In Joe Gibbs, in the better car, and number 20. So top 5. Where is he qualifying? Let's double check. 31st. So he's qualifying high up. Keep an eye out for the dog, BJ, Brandon Jones, plus 250 for a top 5. Give it to me. We're going to Taylor Gray, the man of consistency. Mile and a half was actually one of his better style of tracks in the truck series. And now he's in the 54 Joe Gibbs car. He's been the level and the tip top of consistency. And if it wasn't for late race shit or whatever, I think, where was it? Atlanta? If it wasn't because of Atlanta, him crashing out late there, I think they said he would have had probably another top 5. He would have finished top 5 in every single race. He would have cashed you a bag. He would have made you retire right now. You'd be able to retire from this gambling game. So plus 240 on Bet365 for a Taylor Gray top 5 at the time of him being so consistent, just putting good races together. Give it to me, man. Give it to me. Other guys I'm looking at. I want Sam Mayer so bad, dude. So bad in that 41. He's so good on mile and a halves. He is so good, dude. You saw the finish with Ryan Sieg. You know the love I have for this man. So I am biased, is what they would say. But Sam Mayer is a goddamn dog. He's a goddamn dog. And he's in that 41. Probably the same car that Riley Herbst drove and won by 13, 14 seconds in the fall of 2022. Was it 2023? 2023. My bad. Fact check me. And the guy that is arguably better than Riley Herbst on a consistent basis is getting possibly in the same car and going to try and win this race. I'm thinking out loud, do I want to bet the fucking house on plus 150 for a top 5 for Sam Mayer? It's not happening. We're going to wait. Sheldon Creed plus 125 for a top 5 if he qualifies kind of bad. I'm taking Sheldon Creed for a motherfucking top 5, but it's actually not one of his best tracks. But that 00 has ran really well here as well. We ended up taking Sheldon Creed kind of late as like an extra additive to win last week on a track that he was so good at. And this motherfucker can't catch a goddamn break. I can't bet Sheldon Creed on the right days, and I can't bet Sheldon Creed on the wrong days. All right? It is highs and lows and a lot of negatives, dog. So we'll wait on Sheldon Creed. Oh, other than that, I'm not touching anybody else. So top 5s. Brandon Jones, plus 250. Taylor Gray, plus 240. And we're waiting on Sheldon Creed. And Sam Mayer in the top 3, market baby. Give me plus 3 something. Plus 275. Give me a unit on it. Don't give a fuck. Sam Mayer shouts out. All right. Ryan Sieg plus 550 for a top 3. You know, it's kind of motherfucking tempting, dog. All right. Let's just go to the outrights, man. Let's go to the outrights. How we feeling? Everybody enjoying the podcast? Back on YouTube? Hot Pass Podcast. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, you know. Sam Mayer, 12-1. Give it to me. 12-1 DraftKings right now. The time of recording this, DraftKings, give it to me. Brandon Jones, 18-1 for the dog. All right. Taylor Gray, 18-1 on DraftKings for the dog. All right. And then we wait. Justin Allgaier could go win this race. Disappoint me again. Eric Almirola could go win this race. Sure, go ahead. Austin Hill is stupid, so you don't bet on him. Okay. And at 8-1, not a motherfucking chance for where he's qualifying at. Connor Zilic, 9-1, not gonna happen. All right. Jesse Love, 10-1. You are not anything anywhere other than a super speedway. Shouts out RCR. Tempting ones is like Ryan Sieg at 18-1. If you don't like the BJ or you don't like Taylor Gray, go take Ryan Sieg, man. Man could have a good day. Motherfucker came out of nowhere in a backup car, finished top 5 on a short track, nonetheless. But, yo, scary speed. They bring that to a mile and a half where he finished second, should have won the goddamn, or finished second. I don't know where he finished. Yeah, he finished second in the fall, but should have won the goddamn race. Keep an eye out for your boy, Ryan Sieg. Other than that, I ain't got nobody else, dog. I mean, it's Sam Mayer, Taylor Gray, Brandon Jones. The guys that are in the mid-teens. I like them. And will I bet on Sheldon Creed when he drifts out a little bit because of his qualifying position? Or will the books be extremely scared and not give us a better number? Maybe. I don't know why they're scared because the guy hasn't won anything. Will he drift out? Maybe I'll bet him the top 3. So then if he finishes second, I win money. We'll wait on Sheldon Creed. So it is the whole card. The whole card. Keep away from the matchups right now. I think I don't have any. It is Josh Williams 12-1 for a top 10. Wait for after practice and qualifying for Anthony Alfredo because of where he's qualifying for a top 10. We will take him. Top 5s. Plus 250 for Brandon Jones. Taylor Gray plus 240. And we will wait on Sheldon Creed. And then top 3 plus 275 for your boy Sam Mayer. Not Sheldon Creed, but Sheldon Creed maybe after practice qualifying. And to win, Sam Mayer, Taylor Gray, Brandon Jones. There's nothing can go wrong when you just feel so good on all these dudes to win the race, and they're matching up with all your top 5s and your top 3s. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Nothing could possibly go wrong, dog. We haven't even hit the Cup Series yet, man. And to be honest, right now, I'll just tell you, I only got Kyle Busch at 20-1 on Bet365 for to win the race. But we'll talk about some people. Lines have moved a lot. Qualifying. Actually, I want to talk about qualifying bets here for a second. Qualifying bets, guys. It's going to be between Seabell and Kyle Larson to win the pole. But these books, Bet Rivers, Caesars, Bet365, are wanting you to nibble on Ryan Blaney, who is qualifying 15th, not winning the pole from there. It's one shot, one round. He's not winning the pole from 15th, and he's like one of the favorites. Let me see if I can pull up the the pole position winner bets here. Okay, he's 16-1 on Bet365, but I saw him at like plus 600 or something on Bet Rivers, if I'm not mistaken. Joey Logano is qualifying 27th. Could win the pole from there, but you do have guys after him like Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, and Christopher Bell qualifying after him. And he's plus 400 to win the pole. Joey Logano is. Are you high? Tyler Reddick is qualifying after or before. He's qualifying 2030. He's qualifying before Ross Chastain, Joey Logano. Ross actually has on and off good days at qualifying, but Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman, the guys I just named, and he is plus 600 or whatever to win the pole, plus 550 on Bet365. So keep an eye out. Remember to wait for betting on pole bets and to remember there's no final round. The two bets I've taken, obviously Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson, the best numbers you're going to find is C. Bell at plus 300 to win the pole and Kyle Larson at plus 350 to win the pole on Bet Rivers. You could bet both of them and still profit. You could bet Christopher Bell. The only guy you have to worry about is William Byron in this position, who I don't think ever has gotten a pole here, but has been extremely close. And he's qualifying before the final two. He qualifies third to last. And then it's Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell. Kyle Larson before William Byron as well. So right there, a lot of heavy hitters. So if you're worried about William Byron, maybe hold off, and then just take these Longshot sprinkles that I took. But Kyle Busch has qualified actually pretty good here in this car. Has qualified pretty damn good, and he's qualifying 30th. So he's qualifying 7th to last. Okay, Kyle Busch could put a lap together. You never know. And he's 22-1. I put a little shekel on there. The one number that I was actually shocked to get was 16-1 on, I think it was Bet Rivers. 16-1 on Bet365 for Denny Hamlin to win the pole, and he's second to last. Qualified fourth here last fall. And I honestly hasn't had the best qualifying in the past. But like, I think, I can't remember how the races lined up, for last year. I feel like we've gone at like a little bit later in the year this year to go to Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Because I think we went to Vegas right after Atlanta. Then we went to Phoenix. So like, Denny obviously had probably a bad position of qualifying. So him going to Phoenix to finish in second, this really helps him for his qualifying positions. So at 16-1 for a guy that's qualifying second to last, and 16-1 is a great number. You don't have to put much. Yeah, Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson beat you. I'm not surprised. We're not surprised. Christopher Bell is unreal at qualifying on mile and a halves. His history is insane. Kyle Larson as well, very good. But if you want to put 2-3 units on each of Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell, and you're not worried about William Byron, and you have confidence in those other two guys to be able to get it done, and then you sprinkle a little bit on Denny Hamlin to be right there as well as Kyle Busch, you profit still a lot of money. If William Byron beats you, he beats you. Okay? And you're going to be down bad. And you're going to be upset starting off the weekend or after the Truck Series if you make a bunch of money on the Truck Series. This is what I'm going to wait for. If I make a bunch of money on the Truck Series, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to shove it all into qualifying like a fucking degenerate. So we'll see. But those are my picks. Is Denny Hamlin at 16-1 and Kyle Busch at 22-1 to win the pole. And then if we hit big on like a Daniel Hemrick win, shouts out, Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson will be getting a hammer bet on to be able to win the pole. Okay? Those are my pole bets. That's what I think about those. Other than that, let's go to matchups here on Bet365. Quick little glance at some odds here. All right? Ross Chastain. Joey Logano actually does pretty good here. He's pretty good, but does fairly decent. Some of these lines have moved. Kyle Larson at one point was plus 100 against Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell has been extremely close at winning at this track, hunting down people late in the race. We saw the fall race against Joey Logano and just couldn't get there in time. So he's been bitten a couple of times. This motherfucker could do 4 in a row. Will we be surprised? I wouldn't be. None of us should be. He's not the underdog anymore, guys. God damn it. But looking at some of these odds, Bubba Wallace is minus 140 over Daniel Suarez. Daniel Suarez is Daniel Suarez, but Bubba Wallace is also qualifying really far back. Bubba Wallace is qualifying 12th. So if you're betting on Bubba to win the pole, he is 12th. Do not do it. I expect Bubba to not qualify the best. Daniel Suarez, on the other hand, is qualifying right before him. So there might not be much of a change, but you also might get Bubba Wallace on plus money in some matchups. He's had some bad history here in recent past. This last spring race when I was in Vegas live at the track, early on issues, couldn't get a tire off. It was a horrendous day, finished almost dead last. But Bubba Wallace, we're going to hold off on for top 10s, top 5s, all sorts of stuff. A lot of guys we're just going to wait on because of qualifying and how it works. And where they are starting from, whether it's the wreckage that they've had and the shitty year they've started with. So there's a lot of opportunity to be able to get plus money, I feel like, because of where these guys are qualifying, because of the start we have at super speedways and guys not making it to the end of those races and getting good finishes. So right now, I do like Alex Bowman could just put a good race together. Now, Chris Buescher, it's plus 130 Chris Buescher over Alex Bowman on Bet365. Chris Buescher does not have the best history here. He actually is horrendous at this track. He was racing actually pretty good early on in the race last year. I think it was in the spring when I was there, and he ends up blowing a tire and smacking the wall, takes himself out. Actually fucked up the wall in turn 1. That's how bad he hit it. Huge delay. But he's good on mile and a halves, man. And at plus 130, I mean, Alex Bowman's going to qualify really, really well because of where he is at in the qualifying order, because of his finish last week. Chris Buescher just being really good on mile and a halves. I expect him at some point to be able to get a good finish here. Half decent. Alex Bowman, not the best on mile and a half. So this could be a real head-to-head battle at the backside of the top 10, top 15 all day, and you're getting the plus money side. I like Chris Buescher in this position. That is the only stuff I really see when it comes to mile and a half, matchups right now. I did look at top 4. People bet it down, but at one point Chris Buescher was hanging out at 8-1 for top 4. I was going to take that, and then people bet it down. Because of the track history here, I just didn't decide to take it. I saw a lot of people, Nick Giffen, him and I don't really get along. He blocked me at one point. He's betting all about Chase Elliott. If you guys are following Chase Elliott on this path here, or like Nick Giffen's bets, if Chase Elliott wins, I'd be absolutely shocked. Go look at his history on mile and a halves. It is horrendous in the Gen 7 car. He won at Texas because he stayed out late, and you can't pass on the track. It is the Martinsville of mile and a halves. So just keep that in mind when it comes to Chase Elliott this weekend, and if you feel about betting Chase Elliott. There's a lot of guys in these qualifying positions that you're going to be able to, they're going to drift out and get money. So we're going to look at the top 10s on Bet365 because usually they have really good numbers. Bubba has been bet down to plus 150. Because of where he is qualifying, he will drift out. So I'm going to wait on Bubba. He will be on my final betting card. Ty Gibbs, for example, where he is qualifying, he is plus 175. I saw people take him as well. I'm waiting on Ty Gibbs because where he's qualifying 10th. He will probably drift out to like over a 2-1 because of where he's qualifying. We will wait. Chase Briscoe actually has had not bad runs early on in the year. Last year in the 14 or maybe the fall race has had okay runs, has shown speed at tracks like Charlotte when the 14 was good. and ended up hurting himself late in that race trying to make moves and stuff. So he's been shown speed. The 19 has been good here, and Chase Briscoe has not started the year really well in that 19. But I'm waiting for these cookie cutter races to get him in a good position here. Like, I don't know what he was doing at Phoenix. I can't even remember the race, but him getting caught up in that wreck just tipped it off. But he's qualifying 6th, Chase Briscoe. So wait on him. If you're looking at Noah Gragson for a top 10, he's qualifying super early on. You guys have to wait to get this good value. That patience is key. There's no need to get on these guys early and jump at it unless they're qualifying super early on, and the sports books don't realize that. So let's hold off and wait. Patience is key, and we will have Bubba Wallace, Ty Gibbs, and Chase Briscoe, guys that have not started off the year really well, in our final betting card. One that I'm looking at a lot is Ross Chastain at -120 for a top top 10. Ross is qualifying 26, but he also doesn't have the best history at qualifying, especially on like every track. Certain tracks he's really good at qualifying. Then you take him at those tracks early on, because it seems when he's good at qualifying on a track, he's consistently good. And I've said that many times last year. So we will wait on Ross Chastain for a top 5s and top 10s. He had a really good car last year, actually raced his way back on to the lead lap after having a penalty super early on in the race and having to go down pit road, was down a lap and raced his way back on and finished inside the top 10 as far as I can remember. So we'll keep off Ross Chastain for now. The top 5 market, same thing, waiting on a bunch of guys, but Kyle Busch at +325 feels like a good number because of where he's going to be qualifying, where he's going to probably be running. I feel he showed speed, consistent speed so far throughout the year. It's a very short amount of stuff, like, or short amount of the word is escaping me. I'm stupid, but he has shown speed of where he usually is shown speed, and super speedways don't coalesce. But Phoenix, he was really good, where their short track package has usually been horrible. He showed up and it could have won the race at Coda. Not relatable whatsoever, but has shown good speed. The one that really caught my eye was Phoenix, where their short track package has been horrible, and he was just having a good day all day. So when it comes to where they had speed, and I've said this multiple times, I said this on my Instagram story the other day at @furlongeric_, and Kyle Busch and these 1.5 miles is actually one of his best tracks over the last 2 years in this Chevrolet. He won at out in California there, and in these long green flag runs that we've had at these 1.5 miles, he ends up just snapping loose. Michigan, Kansas, he ends up getting into the wall again at Darlington or whatever against Chase Briscoe. Obviously a bit of a different track, but can coalesce as a 1.5 miles. And he just snaps loose and spins around. It's like he almost gives up. But he's been in position in these top 5s for a +325 for a Kyle Busch who's qualifying right near the end, 7th to last or 6th to last. This number I don't think will be there. I think Kyle Busch, he had a race-winning car last year, ends up getting a penalty, I think, or something like that. So Kyle Busch had a race-winning car, had a lot of speed, and I think they'll bring the same car and maybe tweak it a bit, and I feel confident in Kyle Busch this weekend. So +325 is a great number. I'm going to wait on everybody else. We'll see what we get after practice and qualifying. Kyle Busch is -170 for a top. Kyle Larson is -170 for a top 5. If you like that nasty, disgusting number. Kyle Busch is +650 for a top 3. I don't really like necessarily betting top 3s. Outrights, man. Honestly, Tyler Reddick opened up at 10-1 on FanDuel, which was kind of crazy, or 11-1, and he got bet down real fast. I wanted to take that because I loved T. Reddick. Obviously, have the Beast Unleashed hat on. But Kyle Busch is at, I bet him at 20-1 on Bet365. That line is gone. I'm sure you'll be able to find it somewhere. We're going to wait on, I like Ross Chastain. The qualifying effort isn't usually the best. So we're going to wait on Ross, see what kind of speed he brings. If he qualifies well, then fuck me, right? But I really want to get on Denny Hamlin. He hasn't had the best finishes here. But something just feels like we're getting these longer numbers on Denny where we used to be able to get him only at plus 600, plus 700. We're getting him at I think on FanDuel, he might even be available at 12-1. I'm going to take Denny at the longest number I can find. Because of the position he will be in qualifying, those numbers will be gone, and I want to get in on him early. I'm going to wait on a Bubba Wallace. I'm going to wait on a Chase Briscoe's, the Ty Gibbs. Brad Keselowski honestly isn't very good at this track. There's a lot of guys out there that are qualifying super early on, and I'm going to repeat it again, is patience is key, and we will get in on him or on those guys at some point throughout the weekend. Just be patient. So we're going to just take for the outrights. We're going to take right now Kyle Busch at 20-1 and Denny Hamlin at either 10 or 12-1, whatever the longest number you can find out there is. Okay, so the Cup Series bets, qualifying. If we hit a bag on Truck Series on Friday night, I will put all my money on Seabell, Kyle Larson as the heavy plays to win the pole. And then on top of that, I already do have sprinkle plays on Denny Hamlin 16-1 for the pole on Bet365 and 22-1 on the same book for Kyle Busch to win the pole. Then top 10s, we had what do we have again? Oh yeah, we were waiting on a bunch of people. Top 5s, Kyle Busch, plus 325 on Bet365 or whatever you could find your best number at. And then Denny Hamlin to win at 10 or 12-1 and Kyle Busch at 20-1. I think that was it, right? And the Chris Buescher over Alex Bowman at plus 130 for the matchups. Okay, that has been the Hot Pass Podcast. It was a long one. Hopefully it was still recording on my phone. Hopefully I had enough space on there. 1 hour and 7 minutes. I'm going to try and stay up tonight late. It's 11:15 on Thursday night. I'm going to try and get this uploaded or at least have it try and get to the processing and try and upload it and have everything ready to go for you guys either Friday morning or midday Friday on YouTube for you guys before the Truck Series stuff all starts to happen, okay? So I love you guys. Thanks for listening to the Hot Pass Podcast. Make sure to go over to the Hot Pass Podcast on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, and do all those good things. Hit the notification bell and make sure we're almost at 100 subscribers over there. It's not much, but it's something. Slowly work our way up. Then go to the Hot Pass Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, on Spotify, Apple, wherever. Leave a 5-star rating. It helps out the podcast dearly. So make sure to do that right now. Go to the Hot Pass go to @FurlongEric_ on all social media platforms. FURLONGERIC_ on X, Instagram, and TikTok. And the main reason you want to do that because you want to see my lovely face. But you also, an hour before the Xfinity and truck races, my bets are always exclusive on there. The truck bets are always exclusive on this podcast. But I always place my final betting card on the X and Instagram stories, okay? And on my X feed. So make sure to go follow me there. And then go to the Action Network. Link is in the bio wherever you find me. It's a free app, not a paid partnership or anything like that. It's a free app. You can see all my early plays. I have players, the Players Championship or whatever bets out right now as well that we took early on. You know, Aaron Rye 100-1, Ricky Fowler 140-1. Good plays like this. Yeah, and then we also place our Cup Series bets. Cup Series hasn't been going well for us over the last couple of races, even at the end of last year, but I'm willing to turn it around with a Kyle Busch dub this weekend. So go follow me there. And that's been the Hot Pass Podcast, 1 hour and 10 minutes back on YouTube. I love you guys and enjoy your fucking weekend. If you're in Vegas, I'm jealous. I'll see you guys in October at Vegas. How about that? We'll go out for drinks. We'll get fucked up. We'll have some bets. We'll go to the sports books and we'll bet live, baby, at the track, on the strip, Vegas. Let's fucking ride, baby. Peace.